In 1998, the year that I, and quite possibly many of you, were born, Nashville, Tennessee could expect to experience on average 35 days per year that rose above 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, in 2018, Nashville can expect to experience 45 days per year that cross the 90-degree threshold. You might not consider this that much of an increase, but if so, consider this. By 2078, in the course of a lifetime, Nashville, Tennessee can expect to experience 75 days per year that cross the 90-degree threshold, and a major increase since 1998. Now you might be wondering, who's to blame for this extreme increase in temperatures? And according to 98% of modern scientists, we are. Since industrialization began in the 1850s, Earth's atmospheric temperatures have risen 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, which might not sound like a lot over the course of 150 years, but it is, considering that soon we'll reach the point of no return. In this past October, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released its annual report on climate change that detailed some striking findings about the state of global climate change. As a science major at Belmont University and a self-entitled environmental activist, I believe that it is our job as one of the future generations to educate ourselves on the issue of climate change in order to combat the changes and problems that are facing our globe and our nation. Before I jump into the details of the IPCC's report on climate change, I'd like to give a few details about the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change as an organization and why their report is so important. The IPCC is, according to its own website, quote, a leading international body for climate change, end quote. It was established in 1998 by the United Nations Economic Panel and the World Meteorological Organization, and it aims to give an easily accessible lens into the state of global climate change to citizens around the world. Currently, 195 nations are a member of the IPCC. Although the IPCC does not conduct its own independent research, it is constantly reviewing the most recent reports released by scientists around the world, and in the case of its recent report on climate change, it has compiled data from over 6,000 recent scientific reports, meaning it's something we should really listen to. Now that you know a little bit about the IPCC as a body, let's dive into some of the details of their recent report. The first striking finding of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's report was that if greenhouse gas emissions remain at their current levels, then the Earth can expect to experience a 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in atmospheric temperatures by the year 2040. Now, scientists in the past have estimated that the most severe effects of climate change will occur at a temperature increase of 2 degrees Celsius. However, the recent findings that the IPCC has investigated show that many of these changes can easily occur at 1.5 degrees Celsius, or within the next 20 years if emissions remain the same. Some of the most severe effects of climate change that will occur at this point include a 48-centimeter rise in sea levels that would have devastation for coastal areas, and 271 million people would be affected by severe droughts by the year 2100, which would be devastating to crops and many families. And third, the number of hot days that any city around the world experiences will be expected to rise by 16%, or almost 2 months per year of uncomfortably hot days, according to climatechange.org. Now, the second important finding and imploration that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change gave us in their report was that in order to reverse and prevent these severe effects of climate change, the global economy must take drastic and immediate action. One of the most important of these actions would include implementing a strong and much higher tax on carbon dioxide emissions than is currently available. One that the IPCC recommended that tax would be around $30,000 per ton of carbon dioxide emitted. Now, economists of the Trump administration have promoted a $7 per ton tax on carbon dioxide emissions, which would surely not be nearly enough to combat the climate change that we are certainly facing right now. In addition, companies would need to majorly reduce their use of coal as an energy source, which is one of the main sources of energy today in our nation, according to the New York Times. Now, as you can see, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's report on climate change has released some striking developments and has showed us that we must take action if we want to stop climate change before it's too late. At this point in the world's history, we are faced with two options as a future generation. We can either A, listen to this information, get scared, think it's too difficult to combat, sit back, and let our world erupt around us, or B, we can take action and attempt to make a change. Either way, climate change is facing us with a watershed moment in history, and it's ultimately our decision to sit back or to take action. Thank you.